should Darius Acuff actually be the pick here for the Chicago Bulls? And here's what I want to say in regards to that, right? Bryson Graham is up to evaluate this. And I would say this, if Bryson Graham evaluates that he feels Darius Acuff has more upside and star potential than Caleb Wilson or Cam Boozer, and he takes him, great. Go out there and prove it. What have I said so much throughout this draft process? Is that I am trusting Bryson Graham until he gives me a reason to not trust him. So therefore, if that's the route that he wants to go, cool. Let's see it out there on the basketball court and what's going to go. I've said to you guys, to everyone, all of our fans, anybody who's a fan, not in the building, who isn't, and I don't care about, I'm not talking about just watching tape and highlights. If you are not physically there to see these draft combine results, anybody who's like, oh, there's no way, you don't know. You don't know. None of us know, right? None of us know. We can talk about what we think and what our own deduction is from the information that we have, but none of us know, right? So, is there a chance of that happening? It's as much of a chance as anything else happening. It all comes down to the evaluation of it, right? Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer both offer size, front court value, and I do think a safer roster building than that, right? But I think Darius Acuff and his on-ball scoring, his on-ball creation, is the thing where a lot of people are looking at when it comes down to that. And, they're looking at it and saying, like, we want a lead guard like this. Some people have, like, especially when people start making the Allen Iverson comparisons, for some Bulls fans, any type of point guard, they go to Derrick Rose, right? But I do think that drafting Acuff at number 4 would be a bold statement for Bryson Graham to start off this whole thing with. If you talk about going into a draft where you moved into the top 4 and the consensus top 4 players have been the same for basically the entirety of the year, and of course, their order has changed as the year went on, but if you start off your first draft by drafting Darius Acuff, you better get it right. Because I'm telling you this right now, if that does not work out, you may never get some of these Bulls fans back, right? And that's what it ultimately comes down to. What did I say, earlier on in this draft process? It is not up to an NBA front office to draft the players that fans want. It's up to an NBA front office to draft the right player. If that also happens to be the player that the Bulls fans want, great. But if the right player is not a player that the Bulls fans want, but they prove it on the basketball court, guess what Bulls fans are going to do? That's our guy. Right? Like, that's our guy. So if Graham takes Acuff over Boozer or Wilson, that tells you he's not just drafting for fit. He's betting on the player that he thinks can become the engine of this team. And what one of Bryson Graham's words, what we do in this draft is going to be laying the foundation of what we do and how we build going forward. So that would say a whole lot for the Chicago Bulls if that ends up being the thing, right?